Hello and welcome to the Marble Racing League livestream. We're here today for round 18 of season 5 of the Marble Racing League Championship at Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit. No one has left the pit lane yet for this 18-minute qualifying session. We do have a Ferrari out on track. Pit lane now. I believe this is a sprint weekend, so we have an 18-minute qualifying session. The sprint race, and then I think it's a 29-lap feature race to finish off. But what is the final round of season 5 of the Marble Racing League Championship? I will quickly give an update on the constructor standings. So Williams have sealed the constructors standings title with 459 points. Ferrari are behind them on 319 points. And then we have Red Bull on 266 points, Aston Martin on 224 points, and Alfa Romeo on 205 points. And that is a three-way battle. It'll be quite difficult for Alfa Romeo to catch up to the two teams above them, as they've only got one full-time driver competing this round. But it will definitely be a close fight between Red Bull and Aston Martin. And then we have Haas and McLaren fighting, and AlphaTauri too, fighting for 6th place in the championship. All those positions can change around by the end of this round. Mercedes are only 20 points behind AlphaTauri in 9th place. Alpine are nearly 30 points behind them in 10th place. And then in terms of number of race wins each driver has, Suka F1 has 11 race wins, followed by William with 3 race wins, and then Daryl and Sebastian both got a race win much earlier in the season. And then we have Suka F1 at the top of the driver standings with 340 points. And then William on 242 points, only 30 points ahead of Daryl. But so the battle for second is still up for the second place is still up for grabs in the championship, as we've got a sprint weekend. And then we have Sebastian and Andrew slightly behind them on 194 points and 121 points. Then we have Diego and Simple in 6th and 7th place. Race Chase, Yax, and Trunk rounding up the top 10. Quincy's in 11th on 66 points. Arco 44 is on 59 points. Skid is on 55 points. Verdugo, 14th place in the championship, 47 points. Racing Wheel on 40 points in the Alpine, only 1 point ahead of Enzo. Recently became the full-time driver for Ferrari on 39 points. Ibo's got under half of that tally in 17th place in the championship in the AlphaTauri on 15 points. Ultimate Mr. Pura in the Aston Martin is 2 points behind Ibo in the standings. Heights is still in the single digits, and Joseph Dvorak recently became the full-time driver for Alpine, has picked up 2 points so far to contribute to Alpine's tally in the team standings. So some drivers definitely on their flying laps now. Some lap times have been set already. So that is Enzo, Diego, Daryl and Verdugo. The rest of the drivers yet to set a flying lap time. Here we go on board with DJ Lewis Varus, reserve driver for McLaren this weekend. He's got his lap time invalidated. Andrew's currently on the flying lap. Let's get... Okay, there we go. So on board with Andrew now. Heading through turns 13 and 14. And now to the final corner. Misses the apex, so that can lose him some time. And he goes up to third. So just ahead of Diego, has gone 3 seconds quicker than him. Race Chase have gone to the 123s. Yeah, with a 123.6 in the Alfa Romeo. He's gone quicker than both of them compared to both of the full-time Aston Martin drivers. So they could catch up to Aston Martin in the championship quite easily if this position in the qualifying timings continues or remains the same. Onboard is Darrell now, crucial lap for him as he heads into turn 1. Nice turn to the apex there. Down to turn 2. Turn 2 and turn 3 are both flat out. Brakes just before the 50 marker board, heading into turn 5. Quite important not to take too much of the apex there as you get a swapper on the exits. Now onto the first DRS zone of the circuits. I'm probably approaching the best overtaking opportunity of the circuits, heading to turn 6. This is where you see most of the overtakes in both the sprint race and the feature race today. Now straight on to the second DRS zone. Another reasonable overtaking opportunity into turn 9, but not as good as the one into turn 6. Sometimes battles continue on to turn 12, we rarely see that. And this is when the track often gets a single file for the drivers. And now we're well into the sector 3 of the track. Now heading onto the penultimate corner and onto the final corner now, into turn 16. And that's a lap complete of the Abu Dhabi circuit. Goes into third place, so that's Darrell setting a lap time of a 123.6. So it's currently Palang with the fastest time so far with a 123.1. And then there's Enzo, who's going on an outlap now, in second place with the 123.3. Darrell 3 tenths behind, setting a time 3 tenths slower than Enzo. Darrell and Race Chase very close together in terms of lap time. Then quite a big gap back to Andrew, who's still yet to enter the 123 boundary. He's set a lap time 3 tenths quicker than Diego in the Williams. Diego, who's in 6th at the moment, is 6th in the championship. He's got quite some breathing space between Ravassim ahead of him and Simple behind him in the Haas. However, Simple has got lots of drivers behind him in the standings. Only 1 point behind him is Race Chase, who is on track to qualify in the second row for the sprints. And then Yax is only 4 points behind Race Chase. Tronk, who's not competing this round, is 4 points behind. Yax is under threat from finishing outside the top 10 in the driver standings by the end of the season. That all depends on whether Quincy can score more than 10 points by the end of this round. Definitely possible. And then the 2 McLaren drivers follow in the standings. Will Saravilla and the other Alfa Romeo, the reserve driver for Alfa Romeo this round, goes up to second with a 123.3. Majority of drivers in either in the pit lane or in outlaps. Suka F1 has chosen to retire from the session, so he'll be starting towards the back of the pack for the sprint race. He used that tactic a few rounds ago in Brazil, and he managed to make his way up the field in both races, the sprint race and the feature race. That was in round 16. And now in round 18, which is the final round of the championship. There we see Andrew, who's about to start another flying lap. Diego in the Williams are heading through sector 2 now. We'll follow him to start a flying lap. Go on board with Andrew into turn 1. Possibly turns in too early there. Takes a tighter line compared to the other drivers from the other onboards we've seen so far this session. Nearly loses the rear there on the exit. That could have lost him some time, but he it was relatively clean other than that. Now heading, oh no, that's a bad mistake. So he's got his lap time validated for going over track limits there. Track just narrows down into that braking zone, they can catch you out easily. There we go, there's Diego now, starting his final flying lap. Oh no, not final flying lap, we've still got 6 minutes to go. And that is, I think that's Ultimate Stapuro, who's lost it coming out of turn 1, and he's also lost his front wing. Not ideal there. He does have time to box and pick a new front wing, and then set another lap time, which would probably be, yeah, you probably only have one more opportunity to set a quicker lap time. So he's the Ultimate Mr. Puro in the Aston Martin. They have they're 19 points ahead of Alfa Romeo in the championship. Is on track to start in the top 5 at the moment, so Aston Martin realistically need both their drivers in order to safely secure that 4th place in the championship in the team standings. They've also got an opportunity to overtake Red Bull, as Red Bull have only got one of their full-time drivers competing this round. Palang is on track to get the pole here for the final round of the season, but he is a reserve driver, and his points will not contribute to Red Bull's tally, crucially, in terms of the team standings. Unlike Red Bull, Aston Martin have 2 full-time drivers competing this round, and that will give them a great opportunity to close that gap for 3rd in the championship. Unfortunate for Quincy there, took a lot of curb on the inside and as a result went a bit wide in the exit of turn 1. He's got his lap time invalidated. Andrew's coming into pit. And let's go back on board. Yeah, let's go on board with the Axe. He's on a flying lap now. Pretty quick through the exit of 5. Now onto the very long DRS zone. Into the heavy braking zone of turn 6. Brakes in between the 150 and 100 marker board. Important not to lock up there, as it will compromise the entry and the exit of turn 7. It will cost a lot of lap time, but gets it right through turn 6 and turn 7. Wide entry into turn 9, taking advantage of the banking there. Rare to see the use of the curb on the outside there. I'm not seeing many drivers do that. That's through turn 10 before the braking zone of turn 12. All 5 drivers yet to set a flying lap time yet. That's quite interesting to see. We've only got a few minutes to go. Lots of drivers cutting it fine in terms of testing their opening flying lap time. Let's go on board his race chase. Heading into turn 9. Also a very wide line from him. He set a purple 2nd sector. very quick through turn 13 and 14. And now to the final corner, gets a nice turn in there. Clean lap, well at least a clean third sector from race chase. He does remain in 5th place though, so doesn't make too much progress there. They're simple, overtaking some traffic and probably preparing for his no, he isn't a flying lap, is he? No, I don't think he is. He backed off there. Well, anyway, he's in 4th place. He's going to ensure that he's ahead of Race Chase, Yax, and Quincy in any of the races, the sprint race and the feature race, to prevent him from losing that 7th place that he's currently in the championship. Race Chase has got his lap time advantage, but that doesn't matter as he's already set a flying lap time. Left on board is Enzo, driver currently full-time driver for Ferrari, currently in 3rd place with a lap time of 1:23.1. Although the driver who set the quickest time so far is Real Taravillo, who set a time 5/10 faster. Expecting a wide line into turn 9. Tighter compared to the other drivers. Come over to on the exit there. And now into turn 12, I think, yeah, turn 12. Good ideal for that Alpha Tower to get out of the way. Enzo might be a bit frustrated by that. And he's been blocked, that's not good. So yeah, that's session over for Enzo. He's not going to improve on the 3rd place that he has at the moment. That might be investigated. That was actually Ivo, not Yax, in AlphaTauri. Ivo has set a lap time of 1:26.8. Now on board is Yax now. He's on his final flying lap. Can he improve on his current 7th position with a lap time of 1:23.9? It's a tight line through turn 14. And he improves to 6th, so he gets ahead of Race Chase there. Too much curve there for Daryl on the entry to turn 12. That's cost him a lot of lap time. I doubt that he'll be able to improve on the 8th place that he has at the moment. Not ideal, as both Aston Martin drivers have not qualified particularly well. Oh no, that was not good on the exit there. Diego has backed out of his lap. The only other driver to improve that can still improve their time is Ivo. He's coming over the timing now. There is also, yeah, so Palang has crossed the line as well as he's come. Yeah, Palang has crossed over the line now. Diego has backed out of his lap. Yeah, so that is going to be qualifying over then. So that will be our grid for the sprint race. It'll be Reals Taravilla and the reserve driver for Alfa Romeo on pole alongside the reserve driver for Red Bull, Palang. They're the only drivers to set a lap time in the 1:22s. Then comes the full-time driver for Red Bull, Andrew. He's in the fight for, yeah, it is the fight for 3rd place. I think 2nd's out of reach of him. He's in the fight with Daryl for 3rd place in the championship. He's qualified on row 2 alongside Enzo in the Ferrari. Simple and Yax are on row 3. Those drivers are separated by only 5 points in the standings. So I won't be surprised to see them battling hard in the sprint race. They start alongside each other for the sprint race. Row 4 we have Race Chase and Daryl. Race Chase is also very close to Yax and Simple in the standings, so you expect those three to be battling a lot during the sprint race. There's the results again. Wheels Taravilla setting a lap time just over a tenth quicker than Palang, who will be starting alongside him in the front row. Andrew and Enzo round out row 2. Very close to each other in the standings, starting 5th, 6th and 7th. Daryl, who's in the fight for 2nd in the championship, and is also trying to keep his position ahead of Andrew. Starting 8th, not ideal for him, although position can easily be made here. Diego and Ultimate Mr. Puro in the other Aston Martin, wrapping up the top 10 on row 5. Quincy and Vero Duco in the Mercedes and the Haas will be starting on row 6. DJ Lewis Faris, Ibo, Sucre F1 and Skid Solo, those last two drivers not setting lap times, and will be starting on row 8, the final row for the sprint race. So a few minutes for drivers to select their strategies. Well, not strategies, but fuel loads for this race. There's no mandatory pit stop for the sprint race, so the waiting time will be shorter compared to the waiting time for the feature race later on. I'm unsure of the number of laps for the sprint race, but the feature race will be 29 laps long. So for those who've just joined and missed the results of qualifying, we'll have two reserve drivers starting on the front row of the grid for the sprint race. That is Real Taravilla in the Alfa Romeo, and then Palang in the Red Bull. So they wrap out the front row. Then we have Andrew starting in 3rd place. I can't remember who was in 4th. Could have been... Yeah, it was actually Enzo starting in 4th, and then we had Simple, Yaxt and Race Chase starting 5th, 6th and 7th. That might not be the exact order. So here we go. We're going to do the formation lap now for the sprint race. Off goes Rules Taravilla to lead them on the formation lap. It's a 10 lap sprint race, so so essentially a third of the distance of the feature race we're having today, which will be 29 laps long. So the Alfa Romeo of Real Taravilla are starting on pole, but he's got two Red Bulls, a reserve driver and a full-time driver, starting 2nd and 3rd. They'll both be on the attack in the opening stages of this race. Then we've got Enzo in the Ferrari, starting alongside Andrew there in the Red Bull. The following three drivers are in a three-way fight in the driver standings, a very close fight. They're separated by 5 points of each other, and they're starting 5th, 6th and 7th on the grid. And then we have Daryl just behind them in 8th place, who is trying to overtake William in the driver standings, who is not competing this round. The gap is 30 points. Realistically, Daryl needs to win the feature race and pick up a few points from the sprint race too in order to overtake him in the championship. And wrapping up the top 10, we have Diego in the Williams, and Ultimate Mr. Puro, Daryl's teammate, who could help, who was I think he's 18th in the championship, only 2 points behind Ibo, who's starting 14th. So that could change. That battle for 17th place in the standings. Also very crucial for both Daryl and Ultimate Mr. Puro to score points in ideally both the sprint race and the feature race. as they are relatively close to Red Bull in the standings. They're fighting with Red Bull and Alfa Romeo for third in the championship. And out of those three teams, only Aston Martin this weekend have 2 full-time drivers and are likely to score the most points out of those three teams this round. There we see, that is Ibo heading on the grid now. Suko F1 and Skid Solo wrapping up the final row. So what's going on there? We have an Alfa Romeo crashing into another Alfa Romeo. And 2 disqualifications there. I wonder if they're going to restart. Looks like we're starting anyway then. Okay, so we're underway and there's a virtual safety car already. How that's going to work out. There can be no overtaking on the virtual safety car. Whoa! If I'm not sure what's happening there. I wonder if we're going to restart the session. Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, so a very messy start there. 99% sure that we're going to restart the session. Yes, we are officially restarting. Yes, that was a very chaotic start to the session, the sprint race. Yeah, a few cars disqualified there, even when lining up on the grid, so that was very messy. Some lag or something. Okay, so we're going to resume at round 18, the sprint race. I don't think we're going to have another formation lap. I think we're going to go straight to the race. It'll be Palang and Real Taravilla on the front row, and then it's Andrew and Enzo in the Red Bull and the Ferrari in row 2, Simple and Yax on row 3, Race Chase and Daryl on row 4. Then it's Diego and on row 5. Yeah, Diego and Ultimate Mr. Puro on row 5 in the Aston Martin and the Williams. Just outside the top 10 in row 6 we have Quincy. And I don't know the rest of the order. From what I remember, there are 2 drivers who did not set a lap time in qualifying, so they are both starting on row 8, the final row of the grid for this sprint race. Those drivers are Sucre F1, our championship leader, and then also, I think it's Skid Solo, who was 13th in the championship in the McLaren. Okay, so we are going to have a formation lap then. Hopefully it won't be as messy as the last time we had the formation lap, because that got a bit chaotic. Let's go through the permutations then. The main battles in the constructors and the driver standings. The most significant battle is between Red Bull, Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo. That is for 3rd place in the championship. The crucial thing is Aston Martin is behind Red Bull in the standings. They are also ahead of Alfa Romeo. However, of those 3 teams, Aston Martin are the only team to have all 2 of their full-time drivers racing this round, which will give them quite a significant advantage, considering there are 2 opportunities this round to pick up points in the sprint race and then also the feature race. So they can definitely close that 42-point gap to Red Bull in 3rd. That's obviously assuming that Ultimate Mr. Pura and Daryl, who are both starting inside the top 10 for the sprint race, that both of those drivers get points on both the sprint race and the feature race. Battle for 2nd in the driver standings has been close all season long, but could become even closer by the fact that the leader of that battle, William, is not racing this weekend in the Ferrari. There is Daryl and Andrew behind them in 3rd and 4th position in the championship, who are both racing this weekend. They're going to try and close the gap. It's impossible for Andrew to get ahead of William in the standings, but it's definitely possible for Daryl to get ahead of him. He does need a very good performance in the feature race to get ahead of him in the standings. That's for 2nd place. Sebastian and Diego, they are likely to keep their 5th and 6th in the standings as we see the final drivers head towards the grid. Very close battle between Simple, Race Chase and Yax in the championship. They're starting all alongside each other on the grid. There we see our final call, Sucre F1 lining up on the grid alongside Quincy. Okay, we're waiting for the lights. And we're underway. You can see the Red Bull's car pointing right there. And it's not a good start by Palang, so Real Taravilla maintains his lead. But Palang did not get a good getaway. He manages to stay ahead of Andrew, his teammate. There was a yellow flag, and that is because there is a McLaren round. That is DJ Lewis Fires, who seems to have had contact with Ultimate Mr. Puro and the Aston Martin. Very close there between the Haas and the Ferrari. So that is Simple and Enzo fighting for 4th place. They're just behind the 2 Red Bulls as we head down towards probably the best overtaking opportunity of the entire circuit. You see why. We've got Yax putting pressure on the Race Chase already on lap 1. And we're going to see an Aston Martin, that's Daryl going down the inside of Ibo. Up into 10th place, and Ibo, a bit of contact between Ibo and Daryl on the entry to turn 7. That's allowed Secret F1 to get ahead of him too. As we see Secret F1 and Quincy going alongside each other. And then we have Ibo just ahead of Skid Solo. The two drivers behind them, Ultimate Mr. Puro and DJ Lewis Forest, quite a way behind as they came together on the opening lap and are solidly in 15th and 16th position as we come towards the end of lap 1. Let's go back on board with the leaders. On board with Palang, who has got the current leader in his view. That is Real Sarability who set the fastest lap time. That's obviously not representative of what the fastest lap time should be, as there's only been one lap. Wide moment, Palang there. Bit of the glitch in the timing that's saying that Andrew is a lap behind. That's not true. He's within a second and is likely to get DRS the next lap when it gets enabled. Even without DRS, Enzo could get a very good opportunity to go down the inside of Andrew here. Not quite close enough. As we see Skid Solo and Quincy battling for 12th place. That's the McLaren and the Mercedes. McLaren are in 7th place in the championship, Mercedes are in 9th. But they are very close, they are reasonably close to AlphaTauri in the standings. There you see the top 4, all in that picture, are all likely to be within DRS range of each other. Heading into the DRS zones of the next lap. Bit of contact there, front to rear, between Andrew and Enzo there, but no damage, there was very minor contact. Tight line by Enzo there. Now we head into the final corner, once again, tighter line for Enzo. He hits the apex, Andrew does not, that can make him vulnerable. Well, firstly heading into 10.5, he's gone wide, that is going to make him very vulnerable heading into 10.5. And then into 10.6 as well. Not the ideal line there. Great opportunity for Enzo heading into 10.5. Contact there. And he's going to wait for the DRS zone smartly. And Andrew there losing the rear on the exit. He's trying everything he can to defend that 3rd place. It was Andrew who's also got DRS, who's using more ERS and is going to maintain that 3rd place ahead of Enzo. We've got Simple in the house right behind in 5th place. So yeah, a DRS train from 1st to 10th. Then we've got a 4-second gap back to Skid Solo. What has happened to Quincy? He seems to have come into trouble at turn 6 and 7. Ibo has picked up a penalty for track limits. And then we've got DJ Lewis Virus in that McLaren and Ultimate Mr. Puro, who seems to have pitted. There we see the position changes. Secret F1 has gained the most places. He started last, he's now in the top 10. Yellow flag in sector 3, that looks to be Daryl. What a disaster. So not a great start for either of the Aston Martin drivers. So he's fallen outside the top 10. Oh, and he's lost it again. Just about avoids the DNF there. He's coming into the pit lane. I wonder if this is Daryl out the race. It is. What a shame. So that's Daryl out the race, and that's such a disaster for Aston Martin. In order to overtake Red Bull in the standings, they really needed points finishes in both the sprint race. And what is that? So that is Andrew going very wide there. Race Chase and Yaks going alongside each other. That could be a disaster, but it's not. They're still going alongside each other. The Haas is just ahead of the Red Bull. Andrew's lost 3 places there. They're going to go around the outside, heading to turn 9. Yeah, he's got himself up into 4th position. And he's going to have the inside line into turn 12. Contact. And now into turn 13. They're still side by side, heading into turn 14 and now single file. All this is doing is giving a great opportunity to Yax, who's nearly got alongside the Red Bull there. Race Chase and Diego looking to join the fight too. Very close battles here. We'll be very excited to see how this all plays out when we reach the next DRS zone. Even in turn 5, that is a very heavy braking zone. The drivers are all very close to each other. There'll be a big concertina heading into this corner that we're approaching right now. We're going to first see Simple, who's just behind Enzo. Any moves his position there? No, not quite. But now all these drivers behind Enzo are going to have DRS. That'll put Enzo very vulnerable. Or make him very vulnerable. And then we have Andrew. Is he going to try and go down the inside of 3 cars there? He isn't. The door is shut there for Andrew, so very wide line there for Race Chase, not for that's the optimal line, and that's going to compromise him, so he's now behind Secret F1. Have we got a 3 wide there? We have, and it's Andrew going to go round the outside of both of those drivers. He's just about got ahead of Yax there. Simple there, losing 2 positions, not ideal for him on lap 5. Andrew there having a wide exit there. But just about within track limits. That's not within track limits, so that is Enzo who will get a track limits warning for that, unless he backed out. I wasn't sure whether we did that or not. This battle rages on then. Very rare to see cars going side by side into turn 1 unless it's the opening lap. How is this going to play out? Yax takes avoiding action to go wide there. They're going to go side by side into turn 2. Secret of 1 and Simple going alongside each other there, and Diego's going to try and go alongside Race Chase as well. This is brilliant action as we head into turn 5. The 2 Williams going alongside each other there, nearly contact. Williams have sealed the team standings, so they are probably free to fight. Won't matter if they have a double DNF or anything in either of the races. Is Andrew going to look for moves down the inside of Enzo? No, he won't, but that's Secret F1 getting ahead of Simple there. Oh, not ideal. He's made contact with Secret F1. That's Simple making contact. And he's under big pressure from Diego. And Race Chase. We're going to go 3 wide here. Simple with the outside line. But Diego blocks him off. And that's going to compromise him. And he's just missed out on 8th place there. So he's lost another 2 positions on lap 6. Simple nearly going to the back there of Race Chase. So Simple now in 9th place. He's currently in 9th place, which is 4 positions down from where he started. He started 5th. His rivals in the championship, Yax and Race Chase, are both ahead of him, which is not ideal. They're very close to him in the championship standings. Some side-by-side action between Secret F1 and Andrew, who's in 5th place. The 2 Williams are very close to each other. I wonder if there's going to be a move into turn 5 for these 2 drivers. They're going to go down the inside. Not quite. Let's go on board. We've got Simple there at the back of this train. Race Chase in front of him. Some side-by-side action ahead. Let's go on board with Andrew. Can he get involved in this fight, this 2-way fight too? Nearly goes into the back of Enzo there. It's now Yax in the podium position for this sprint race. And after all that, I've missed this change for the lead due to the battling going on further back. That's Real Teravillo taking the lead, retaking the lead actually, ahead of Palang. Has there been any changes for positions behind? Side by side between Secret F1 and Andrew. Andrew sees the position. Secret F1 is now up into the top 5 after starting 16, so he's gained 11 positions. Takes a lot of curve there, that's going to lose him some time. And that's Secret F1 going alongside Enzo, heading into turn 1. Is he going to get ahead of him? Brakes off round the outside. Can he make the corner? Just about. So Secret F1's now up into 4th. He's going to chase down Yax for 3rd. He's going to have DRS. And that's a wide moment for Enzo, so that's going to compromise him to turn 5. Andrew's not going to go down the inside into turn 5. He's going to wait for the DRS zone. Nearly contacting the 2. We've got Diego right behind him. All these 3 drivers, so Diego and Andrew looking to put pressure on Enzo. Heading into turn 6. Not quite. It's still a very close battle as we head onto the penultimate lap shortly. And he's got Race Chase alongside him, very close between the two. Can he make the move stick? There's contact between the two. Race Chase gets shuffled wide. He might not like that. And then we got Simple, who might join the party as well. Not a good exit for Enzo there. Oh no! That is a melee, so that is Diego go. Oh dear! That is Skid Solo joining that melee. Miraculous how there were no DNFs there. That was Diego, Andrew, and Race Chase coming together at turn 14. No safety car, so they will not benefit from this at all. They're very likely to miss a point to finish in the sprint race. They will see Skid Solo's lost his front wing. Diego has escaped damage after being rear-ended by Andrew. Oh no, maybe it was Diego going into the back of Andrew. I completely forgot. Has he got damage? He lifted off there. Yeah, I think he's got a bit of damage there. Yeah, so he's lost his front right end plate. That will lose him a lot of time for the rest of the lap. But he is in 10th place, so that will not score many points. At least I think it won't score many points in the sprint race. I've missed the change for lead again. And then we're going to see if Real Taravillo can go down the side of Palang here. We're going to have one more lap of racing action between these two drivers. Verdugo getting ahead of Race Chase there, so it has Race Chase got damage. So he's lost his front right end plate as well. The secret of fun, Yax, Enzo, Simple and Verdugo avoiding the carnage. However, Race Chase, it's cost Diego, Race Chase and Andrew dearly. Yeah, so not a great performance by Aston Martin. However, both Daryl and Andrew, who are fighting for third in the championship, have both had a quite poor result. So I don't think Andrew will have any gains in terms of the championship standings heading into the feature race. Battle for the lead seems to have stabilised, so I think Real Taravillo has sealed the victory here, unless he makes a mistake in sector 3. That gap is nearly a whole second. The closest battle though is between I think that's Skid Solo and Andrew. That's the battle for 12th place. They both pitted due to damage on lap 9. And now we're heading on to the final lap. So this is Real Taravillo coming over the timing line to start. Oh no, that was lap 10 already. So Real Taravillo crosses the line. Palang in second, Suko final in third. Yax fourth. Enzo and Simple wrapping up the top 6. Very close to each other. His teammate Verdugo is going to come in 7th ahead of Race Chase in 8th, who was involved in the contact. Unlike Race Chase, Quincy does not have damage. Can he get ahead of Race Chase? On the line, it'll be very tight, but Quincy has to settle for 9th and misses the points paying positions, unfortunately. Diego, who also has damage, is going to come over the line in 10th. A lot of glitching there, but very close between the two McLarens and the Red Bulls there, fighting outside the top 10 for 11th, 12th and 13th place. Ultimate Mr. Puro, who pitted very early in the race, is going to finish 14th. Had contact on the opening lap. Yeah, and I think Diego went into the back of Andrew heading into turn 14. Probably the most eventful part of this sprint race. Yeah, it is Suzuka F1 is our driver of the day after getting into 3rd place, gaining 13 positions from after starting last. There we see Real Taravillo and Palang both reserve drivers finishing in the top 2 positions for the sprint race. Sucre Afon, our championship leader, finishing 3rd after starting 16th. A lot of positions made by him and staying out of trouble, unlike a lot of other drivers. Yax finished 4th. Enzo finished 5th. Great result by Haas there. They finished 6th and 7th and are going to gain a lot of points in the sprint race there. To maintain their 6th place in the championship ahead of McLaren and AlphaTauri. Race takes the final points paying position in the Alfa Romeo. Quincy, Diego, Andrew, Diesel Lewis Rice, Skid Solo, Ultimate Mr. Puro, Ibo and Daryl all missing out on points, unfortunately, for the sprint race. And now it's on to the 50% distance feature race, which will be 29 laps long. There is a mandatory pit stop for this. And we're going to wait a few minutes for drivers to select their fuel loads and strategies. Safety cars aren't too common here. The walls are very close, particularly in Sector 3. As we saw that contact there between Diego, Andrew and Skid Solo into turn 14. Very difficult to avoid a crash that's already occurred there. I will just check to see when the race will start. Race will start in 1 minute's time. So final minute for drivers to select their strategies. It will be Reels Taravillo on the Alfa Romeo and Palang in the Red Bull. They're both reserve drivers and will not contribute to a Red Bull or Alfa Romeo tally. They will both be starting on the front row. Sucre F1 in the Williams and Yax in the AlphaTauri. They're both full-time drivers. They will start in row 3. Behind Simple will be his teammate Verdugo, who will be alongside, I don't know who will be alongside. Might be Race Chase in the Alfa Romeo on row 4. Quincy and Diego rounding out the top 10 for this race. And then outside the top 10 we have Andrew, the 2 McLarens of Skid Solo, and RQ44. And then after that we have Ivo, Daryl and Ultimate Mr. Puro, who are the other drivers starting out for the top 10 after having poor results in the sprint race. Aston Martin really need a 1-2 finish in order to make a difference in the team standings. Red Bull are in a good position, even with one full-time driver, to start to maintain their 3rd place in the championship. We're going to go underway for the formation lap here. So for those who have just joined and missed the sprint race, there have been some significant changes in terms of positions since the start of the sprint race. That front row has remained the same. They're both reserve drivers and will not contribute to Red Bull or Alfa Romeo's tally, but they'll both be starting on the front row. Sucre F1, our championship leader, will be starting alongside Yax. Sucre F1 started last for the sprint race but managed to gain 13 positions and is going to start 3rd for the feature race. Yax, I think, started 6th and has gained 2 positions to start on row 2 for the feature race. Enzo lost a position. He started 4th for the sprint race but will start 5th for the feature race. Simple also lost a position during that sprint race as well and will start 6th compared to his 5th place start in the sprint race. Verdugo started, I think he started 12th for the sprint race, managed to gain 5 positions after avoiding contact, unlike many of the drivers ahead of him. He's starting just behind his teammate Simple in 7th place. He'll be alongside Race Chase, who did get involved in an incident towards the end of the race, he was on track to score a higher result in the sprint race than 8th. So did Diego got involved in that same incident too, and will be starting 10th alongside Quincy in the Mercedes, who qualified outside the top 10 for the sprint race. Andrew got into trouble in that incident as well, will be starting 11th after starting first for the sprint race, so a very not a positive result at all for him for the sprint race, as the drivers lining up in the grid. The two McLarens of DJ Lewis Virus and Skid Solo struggling to get inside the top 10 and getting into incidents. That's both of them getting into incidents. Ultimate Mr. Puro making contact with the McLaren on lap 1. Oh dear, we have a disqualification, that's not ideal. And then we have Ibo and Daryl, who both got into trouble earlier in the race. Okay, we're waiting for the lights. Okay, we're underway for the final round of Season 5 of the Mab Racing League Championship. Very good start by Real Saravillo once again, but very close behind. What's going to happen behind? Is there any contact? No, there isn't. No yellow flags so far. Clean start then, and that is Yax battling with Enzo as we head into turn 3 and 4, and now we're going to go into turn 5. It's going to be Suka F1 alongside Palang as we head into turn 5. Wide line from Palang there, who's dropped a place. That is Iber at the back of the field there. But we're going to go back to the front where all the action's happening. That is the Ferrari of Endo looking to make a move on Sinful in the Haas. The other Haas of Veriduka's lost some places. Bit of a concertina at the back. Is there any contact? No, there isn't. And there is some side-by-side action. That is Race Chase making a move on Diego for 8th place. And no moves being made. Into turn 3 there actually is, and that's Palang, who has spun. That is not ideal for Yax. Is he going to avoid everyone else? No, he isn't. That is such a shame. Ultimate Mr. Puro had gone into the back of him and has just about not DNF'd there. That was inevitable. So Yax is out the race after spinning whilst battling with Palang. Such a shame. He was fighting for the final podium place for this final round of the season. Ended up spinning and got T-boned by someone else. Very lucky for Ultimate Mr. Puro and the Aston Martin to not get any damage there, or not break his suspension. And we're going to go on board. Okay, so it actually might have been Daryl who made the contact and caused Yax to DNF. So has he got wing damage? I think he has. Yeah, he has. So he's the one who made the contact, I think, unless he's made contact with someone else earlier on in the lap. But yeah, there we see his teammate Ultimate Mr. Puro in 13th place, Daryl in 15th after pitting, the only driver to pit so far. And we've got a safety car straight away in this Abu Dhabi feature race for round 18 of season 5 of the Mab Racing League Championship. Let's get the position change graphic on. Let me see. The top two have changed, so that is Real Saravillo maintaining first place, the Secret of One getting ahead of Palang heading into turn 5. And then we have Palang in third. Simple gaining 2 places after Yax's spin, and also getting ahead of Enzo in 5th place. I think he made a move into turn 6 to get that done. Quincy's gained 3 places, getting ahead of Race Chase and Daryl, who has DNF'd, unfortunately. What a shame. So Daryl will not be getting P3. Oh well, he could still get P3 in the driver standings, but Andrew, Andrew did not get points in the sprint race, nor did Daryl. So that gap is probably still 18 points. So yeah, Andrew needs to make his way up into second place in order to steal that third place away from Daryl. It is possible, although Secret of One, Real Taravillo, and Palang seem to be in a different league compared to the rest of the field in terms of pace. So yeah, he really needs a turn in fortune in order to steal that third place in the driver standings away from Daryl. Safety car could be coming in at the end of this lap. In terms of, I didn't go through the rest of the field in terms of drivers who made positions. Race Chase gained a position. Probably due to the Yax's and Daryl's DNF after they're coming together. Then we have Diego, who started 10th but gained 2 places. Verdugo lost 3 places after starting in 7th. DJ Lewis Virus in the McLaren, who started 12th alongside his teammates, Skid Solo, has made his way up into 9th, into the top 10. Verdugo is just about inside the top 10, and we've got the message that the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. So Real Taravillo will be managing our first safety car restarts. And then outside the top 10 we have Andrew, who's maintained his 11th place. He's technically lost a place, but gained a position due to Yax's DNF. So that's DJ Lewis Forest getting ahead of him. Skid Solo, Ultimate Mr. Puro, Ibo all getting a place, benefiting from those DNFs in the opening stages of this race. As we see Real Taravillo coming through turn 14. Safety car is entering the pit lane. When does he go? Is he going to go very late, or is he even going to go at this corner? There we see Real Taravillo. Looks like he's gone now, so he's gone early. Suco F1 though is right behind him. So Real Taravillo leads us on the safety car restart, heading into turn 1. Suco F1 is right behind him, 3/10 behind him, and a much better exit by Suco F1 as we head into turn 2 and 3. Is Suco F1 going to try and go for a move? Down the inside into turn 5. Not quite. But he's going to have the ERS now to try and get past him. Down towards turn 6. He's going to go alongside him. As we head, this is the battle for the lead. Down the inside goes Suco F1. Up into first position. Let's see if Palang can get involved in this fight too for the lead. So Suco F1 has hit the front. And Real Taravillo has unfortunately lost a place on lap 4 of this 29 lap race here in Abu Dhabi. All remaining stable in the top 10. No moves going on so far. Although Andrew has got ahead of. Yeah, so Verdugo has unfortunately lost more places there on the safety car restart. That has promoted Andrew to the top 10. He will need to make moves urgently in order to have a chance of stealing that third place in the championship away from Daryl. Bit wide there from Skid Solo in 11th place. Question is whether Real Taravillo can stay within DRS of Suco F1 as we head onto lap 6. DRS will not be enabled until lap 6, so there'll be no DRS this lap. Although it's very close between Enzo and Simple, this is the battle for 4th place. And then we've got Quincy in 6th place in the Mercedes, right behind them. The Alfa Romeo Race Chase is behind Quincy. With some side-by-side action, let's go on board with Enzo. Gonna go side by side. Simple, heading into turn 6, Simple brakes much later. And Enzo's gonna have to see that position. He remains in 5th. Let's see if he tries again, heading into turn 9. No DRS, so that won't help him. Quincy is just over a second away from that battle. And he's got to deal with Race Chase, who's right behind him. So is Diego, who was just about within DRS range. As we head onto the lap where DNF will be re-enabled. Actually, I don't think DRS was ever enabled. As the safety car came out very early in the race. Suzuki F1 setting the fastest lap there. Ahead of Reels Taravilla and Palang. As we head onto lap 6, Simple is just ahead of Enzo. See Gigi Lewis Virus coming into the pits. Let's bring the tyre graphic on. He's put on a fresh set of medium tyres. Ivo's got an old set of mediums on. Let's see if there are going to be any changes of positions as DRS has been enabled. Don't think there's going to be any move down into turn 6 this time. But what about into turn 9? That was very close between Enzo and Simple. He's going to have DRS. Can he get past Simple? Heading into turn 9, he's very close to him. He's going to try and go around the outside of Simple. Around the outside he goes. Tight line from Simple, that's going to compromise him. And Enzo takes that 4th place away from him. Quincy's very close behind him in 6th place. And then we have Race Chase, who's 2/10 behind Quincy. And then we have Diego, also in this DRS train. Bit of a gap back to Andrew, who will need to close that 3.5 second gap as soon as he possibly can. He will need to go for an aggressive strategy as well in order to have a chance of getting up into 3rd in the driver standings. He's got to finish 2nd now that Daryl's DNF and will definitely not score any points. Yeah, and he's currently in 9th place. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. That is for Ibo. He's lost it entering turn 16. Quite tricky to do, actually. Back to this DRS train. We're going to have Quincy, who's going to look for a move on Simple. They're going to go side by side heading into turn 6. Quincy got ahead of Simple. And now we have Race Chase, who's going to try and go down the inside of Simple here. He's made the move stick. Race Chase will have DRS though. He's going to go alongside Simple, heading into turn 9. Ooh, and that is what has happened to Reels Taravillo. He has lost it coming out of turn 9. Disaster there for the reserve driver for Alfa Romeo. He's lost it coming out of turn 9. The driver who was in 2nd place and led the start of the race and the sprint race has his feature race has come to an abrupt end on lap 17. We've got our 2nd safety car. Let's see if any driver pits. I would expect the medium runners to change their medium tyres. We've done about a quarter of this race so far, so it might not be a bad time to switch those medium tyres into a set of hards. Although it will be a very long stint on those hard tyres. As we head into lap 8, safety car won't be coming in probably until the end of lap 9. The Reels Taravilla becomes our 3rd DNF of the session. So we only have 13 drivers remaining. That means, so if all of these drivers finish the race, they will all be scoring points. Top 13 score points in feature races in the Map Racing League. Whilst we're waiting for the safety car to come in, probably at the end of lap 9, let's see the permutations. Andrew's come in for a fresh set of medium tyres. So he needs to finish 2nd in order to make a change in the driver standings. There's also this really close battle between Simple, Race Chase, and Yaxt for 7th place in the championship. At the moment, Race Chase, now it's pretty much a battle between Race Chase and Simple, as Yaxt has DNF'd, sadly, on the opening lap. So Yaxt is very likely to lose that 9th place in the championship. It also depends whether Quinty can get up into the podium paying positions to steal 10th place away from Yax too. So Yax is under threat from finishing 11th in the championship, unfortunately. So good opportunity for Mercedes and for Quincy to get themselves up into 10th place in the standings. Race Chase is 1 point away from Simple. So it pretty much depends on who finishes, of which of those two finishes ahead of each other, ahead of the other on track. At the moment, it's Race Chase who's on track to get ahead of Simple in the standings. That's the battle for 7th place. It does obviously depend if Simple gets the fastest lap. That can make things quite complicated, as they will be tying on points if that occurs. Ibo has got a penalty for track limits. Quite a rare thing to see under the safety car, but it's happened. Ibo comes to the pit lane. And he is in 12th place. Ibo has got a tally of 15 points and is in 17th place. However, the driver behind him in the standings, Ultimate Mr. Pura in the Aston Martin, is only 2 points behind him and is currently on track to score 10th, which will probably put a lot of pressure on Ibo for that 17th place. Ultimate Mr. Pura is likely to finish ahead of him now, if things stay that way. Further up the order, Enzo is in a very good position to get ahead of both Racing Wheel and Veriduco to get up into 14th and to finish 14th in the standings by the end of the championship. All close moment there between DJ Lewis Virus catching up to the queue of cars behind the safety car. Now that we've got the majority of drivers in this queue, racing action is likely to get underway to resume on lap 10 with effectively 20 laps to go. And then we see Ibo and the AlphaTauri reaching the end of this pack as well. So this second safety, so we saw Real Taravillo leading the safety car restarts at the end of the first safety car. He's now DNF'd, and it will be Enzo leading us for the second restart. When does he go? Enzo is on 8 lap old hard, so is Diego, the driver behind him. But then we have Suko Fon, who's on a fresh set of hard tyres, followed by Paling, who's on a fresh set of medium tyres. That order between those top 4 drivers is very likely to change as we head onto lap 10. The restart has resumed. There was a bit of contact at the back there. Team orders for Williams there. Suko Fon has got ahead of Diego. Diego letting him by. And it's all about whether how quickly Suko Fon can chase down Enzo in the Ferrari. And it's very close there between Palang and Diego. Palang is going to go for a move down the inside. Let's go on board with him. And there's contact there. That's going to give a great opportunity for Quincy. Down towards turn 6. He's got ahead of Diego. Can he get ahead of Palang? And we've got a battle for the lead. That is Sukrofon going to go down the inside of Enzo, heading into turn 6. Some training for positions further back as well. Quincy in 5th, Diego 4th, Palang 3rd, Race Chase, Simple and Skid Solo right behind them. Bit of a gap back, surprisingly, to Andrew in Knights. He's also got a penalty, so that's not a great restart at all for him. As he desperately needs to get 2nd in order to get 3rd in the standings. Can any moves be made here? Very close, bit of a Constantina effect there. Very difficult to make moves here though. Yeah, Fedara there losing out on the bug. What's happened to Enzo? He's lost it. Coming, oh no, so that has caused a DNF again. We're going to go aboard with Ibo to see closer insight of what happened, and there we go. So from what I've seen, Enzo lost it, and got T-boned by Simple. So both those drivers are out. And that is an early Christmas present for Race Chase, as both of his rivals in the championship have DNF now, so that 8th place is definitely up for grabs. All race safety needs to do now to get 8th place in the championship is literally finish the race. So Enzo and Simple are our 4th and 5th drivers to DNF from the race. We've got our 3rd safety car. Sucre F1 is our new leader. Let's see who comes to the pit lane then. I wonder if we're going to see Diego into the pits. I think he's the only driver yet to come into the pit lane. Yeah, so he's in the Williams on an old set of hard tyres. He might actually stay out and gamble for a 4th safety car. That's quite crazy. And however, that incident has given some hope to Andrew. All he needs to do now is gain 4 more positions. That is probably going to change if he comes to the pit lane. To try and get himself up into 2nd place. To make a change in the the driver standings. So multiple drivers in the pit lane there. For soft tyres, interesting. So Ultimo Tapiro has gone to soft. He's changed his soft tyres to hard tyres. Quincy is on a fresh set of soft tyres. So is Andrew and Skid Solo. They're probably gambling on a 4th safety car. I'm not surprised that that could occur because we've seen some very hectic restarts. The safety car will probably come in at the end of lap 13. And Sucofon will be leading the restart on 4-lap old hard tyres. Palang is on the medium tyres. They're also 4 laps old. So he'll be quite aggressive on the restart, looking to chase down Sucofon, who is the Drivers' Champion of Season 5 of the Map Racing League. Race Chase is in a very good position to steal 7th place away from Simple in the driver standings after Simple and Yax, their rivals, DNFing. Good opportunity for Quincy to make himself to put himself up into the top 10 of the standings as well. He realistically needs to finish. So he needs 14 points. He realistically needs a 3rd place to get himself up into the top 10 in the standings. As a driver ahead of him in the standings, well, there's Trunk first of all, who is not competing this round. He will definitely remain on 76 points. And then there's Yax as well on 80 points, who needs to get ahead of. Safety car likely to come in at the end of this lap. Number of drivers are pitted again. That's Ultra Mr. Puro. Switching, aborting that hard tyre strategy. Diego's gone into a new set of medium tyres. Andrew's gone onto some 4-lap old soft, sorry, not soft, medium tyres. He's still got that penalty. I wonder if that's for track limits. Could be for speeding in the pit lane as well. So as we see the rest of the drivers catch up to the pack, let's give an overview of the running order. Sucre F1, our championship leader in the Williams, will be leading us for the 3rd safety car restart, as we see the message that the safety car will be coming in at the end of lap 13. So Sucre F1 will be resuming racing action on lap 14. Palang will be chasing him down on 5-lap old medium tyres. Race Chase is on that final podium position by the way things stand. In third place in the Alfa Romeo. Okay, interestingly, Alfa Romeo are in a very good position to get ahead of Aston Martin in the team standings. That's the battle for fourth place. So that depends if if he would heavily rely on Ultimate Mr. Puro not finishing the race. As we get racing action back underway, we have Suko F1 leading ahead of Palang. Down towards turn 1 we go. Top 3, the order of the top 3 remaining the same. And now we're going to head towards the back of the field. That's Diego going wide there in the Williams. Very close there between McLaren, that's Iber and Skid Solo battling into turn 5, wide line by Diego. The two nearly make contact and Iber taking a very tight line there. Oh dear, Ultimate Mr. Puro has lost it heading into turn 5. Not ideal for him, he is now in 11th position. That's where he started for the restart. There's been a change for 4th place. That's the Haas of Simful, and that is DJ Lewis Rice nearly losing it again there. He's going to lose a ton of positions there. He's got his teammate behind him, that is Skid Solo, the full-time driver for McLaren, in 8th place. So yeah, so that contact was Verdugo there, who's now in 4th place. Great performance by him so far, staying out of trouble. Yeah, Haas were on for very good results, but their Simful got caught up with an incident with Enzo, who seems to have lost it and came back into the racing line, unfortunately, to take Simful out of the race with him. Suko F1 with the fastest lap. As we see, I was expecting to see Palang to close down the gap to Race Chase. Palang's actually gone wide. Race Chase is going to be within DRS range, as I think on lap 16, yeah. Because this is the second lap after the restart. The third lap will be where DRS is enabled, so in a lap's time, we could see Race Chase attempting to make a move for second place. Very close between Quincy and Verdugo. Battle for 4th place. Some side-by-side action between the two McLarens. Verdugo defending his line against Quincy. Quincy backs out of it. Not a good exit at all for Verdugo though, so he's gonna have to concede 4th place there. Quincy's up to 4th. He needs to finish. He needs to stay here in 4th place, and he can get 9th place in the championship if he makes his way up into the podium positions. That's Diego getting ahead of Verdugo as well, so Verdugo losing ground there. Either way, Haas are still in a very good position to seal their 6th place in the standings as we come to the end of season 5 of the Marvel Racing League Championship. Wow, tight line there for Verdugo. Skid Solo nearly going alongside into the final corner. Now into turn 1. Not quite alongside into turn 2. Any moves going on ahead? Not quite. He's going to have DRS again. So that is Verdugo, who's going to be defending it against Skid Solo. Battle for 6th place. There was a battle for 4th place too. Diego ahead of Quincy. How about this battle behind? Skid Solo very late at the brakes. That will compromise his entry into turn 7. Doesn't seem to have affected him too much. Looks like he's going to maintain that 6th place. And now we've got Andrew joining the battle too. He has got a penalty though. It's looking increasingly unlikely that he's going to make a change in the driver standings. He needs to finish 2nd to overtake Darrell in the driver standings, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Let's go further up the order. Let's go back to this battle for second place. Time penalty for Skid Solo in the McLaren for track limits. Not ideal for him. There was a yellow flag in sector 3, that is Ibo. Three-way battle here, and that is Skid Solo with a penalty, trying to get ahead of Quincy. He shuts the door on the outside, heading into turn 6. Quincy has to see the position, he is now down to 5th. Those chances of a podium slipping away as we've only got 12 and a half laps to go. He will have DRS though. Oh wow, nearly contact there. Heading into turn 9, taking the outside line, and has got back ahead of Skid Solo. There's DJ Lewis Forest battling with Ultimate Mr. Puro. Those two collided on the opening lap of the sprint race. They're about to resume their battle. This is for 9th place. Suko Fon there, increasing his lead up to 3.8 seconds. That gap is increasing very quickly. However, this gap is shrinking. It is now 5 tenths only between these two drivers. This is the battle for second place. They're both on track to get onto the podium. DJ Lewis Virus has retired from the session. Yeah, so I think he's pulled over. So he's out in. So he's DNF'd. That'll put Ibo up into the top 10. Battle for second has remained the same. Palang has gone wide. He's gone very wide. And that will give a great opportunity to race chase. Let's go on board with him. Heading into turn 9. He's going to go alongside him into turn 9. Palang much more aggressive on the brakes and maintains that second place as a result. Wow, Andrew there with a very wide line there. Looking to catch up to Quincy, Skid Solo and Diego. That's the battle for 4th place, a 3-way battle for 4th place. He's catching them up quite rapidly. And we've got Verdugo having a great race in the Haas there. He's coping very well in those 10-lap-old medium tyres in the Haas in 8th place. Where's Verdugo in the championship? Verdugo is 14th in the championship, 8 points behind Skid Solo. But unfortunately Skid Solo is on track to get a larger points haul compared to him. So that gap will increase. He's 12 points behind RK34, so Verdugo realistically needs to finish in 4th place to make a difference in the standings. It's becoming increasingly likely that Skid Solo will finish ahead of RK44. In the driver standings. That is the battle for 12th place in the standings. Is Race Chase close enough to make a move? He's going to go down the inside, not quite. Heading into turn 9 once again. Palang successfully defending his position into turn 9. And we've got Skid Solo with a tight line there. So Andrew's now made this 4-way battle between Quincy, Skid Solo, Diego and Andrew. Those 4 drivers all battling, looking to make themselves go up to 4th place. As we're now approaching the final third of this race. Another pit stop will probably need to be made for those 2 drivers. so for all the soft runners. The Quincy's actually made the most stops out of, I know, it's Andrew and Ultimate Mr. Puro have made 3 stops. Quincy and Skizolo have made 2. So whilst I'm saying that, this battle is becoming very close. You can see all those 4 cars. And it's going to be Diego putting pressure on Quincy, heading into turn 9. Quincy backing out there. That will give a great opportunity to Skizolo and Andrew. Andrew with a very wide line there. That's going to force him to lose time, as he would have had to back out to avoid track limits warnings. He's already got a penalty for that. Then we see Ultimate Superior pitting there. Gap between second place and leader is now 8 seconds. Might go back to the battle for second place. It's getting very close. Although, is anyone going to make a move down into turn 6? Not quite. Race chase still not close enough to the back of Palang. But I think Skizolo has got a great opportunity to get past Quincy here. Doesn't quite get enough alongside him. And that is going to bring Andrew into the fight. Heading towards turn 12 now. They all Constantine are up. I would say Quincy would have had the worst exit there, and he's going to become under pressure. There you see Diego's extended that gap between Diego. So Diego's extended that gap between him and Quincy. And there's Andrew right behind them. And there you see Verdugo and the Haas. A significant amount of time behind them. And there you see Ibo, who's in between Verdugo and that 4-way battle, as he is a lap down. Ultimate Mr. Puro has pitted. He's going to get rid of those soft tyres. And Race Chase get ahead of Palang on lap 22, we'll see. It's Quincy down the inside of Diego. He forces Diego wide. That's given a great opportunity. Oh, now Skizolo has run wide, or has more or less been forced wide. And this is going to bring Andrew into play. Can he get past the McLaren and the Williams? They're going to go 3 wide into turn 9. Got past all 3 of them, but messes up the exit, and is going to lose all those 3 positions. What a shame. Andrew's lost all those 3 positions that he gained heading into turn 9. But he'll be on the full attack heading onto lap 24. Or lap 23, sorry. As Sukafon is already across the timing line to start lap 23. Bit of breathing space for Diego there, due to Andrew's lunge down the inside, separating him from the other 3 drivers in this 4-way battle. Sketchy exit there for Quincy, and he's now crucially outside of DRS range. Oh no, he's back within DRS range, so he's now 6% behind him. Heading into turn 5, which is the DRS detection point. He will have DRS on the exit of turn 5. So will Skizolo, and so will Andrew. Can Andrew make the pass? We'll see, heading down towards turn 6. Andrew trying to get past Skizolo. Skizolo's not giving up though. Close battling ahead. Oh dear. Diego has had an incident coming out of turn 7. Has that given damage? Andrew, it unfortunately has. He's lost his front left end plate. That's such a shame for Andrew. He did everything he could to get out of trouble, but he's lost a significant amount of performance there. And Diego's lost his front right end plate there. After losing it coming out of turn 7. All this has done has separated them from the other two, which was from that originally, which was originally a 4-way battle. It's now a 2-way battle for 4th place between Skid Solo and Quincy. They're unlikely to close that 10-second gap between them and that battle for 2nd place. That's Diego and Andrew pitting. Yeah, they have to change their front wing. They've lost a lot of performance. It's all about whether Veroduca can get ahead of them. It'll be quite tight. Can Veroduca get ahead of him? I think Veroduca will get ahead of both Andrew and Diego. Let's go on board as Quincy. I'll nearly go to the back of Skid Solo there. I both got a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not ideal. Not speeding in the pit lane. For track limits. Can Quincy get past Skid Solo? Heading to turn 9. Not quite. Ibo getting the benefit of DRS here. He's having a good second part of this race after ending up a lap down due to a messy start for him. But he's managed to have a consistent second half of the race. We've only got 5 laps to go. And Suka F1 is looking to get his 12th win of the season. I have a feeling that Race Chase is waiting for the final lap to get this move done. Saving DRS, ready to do a flat out push on the final lap, that which is going to be lap 29. He is so close to the back of Palang, but I think he's going to wait. I don't think Quincy's going to wait though. Problem for Ibo at the back there. As we see these two battling it out into turn 6 and now turn 7. None of them really going wide there at the exit there. Now heading towards turn 9. Skid Solo is going to have DRS. He's going to go alongside Quincy. And he's going to get past him. Heading into turn 9. That's Skid Solo up to 4th place ahead of Quincy. Quincy got past him into turn 6. But Skid Solo has passed him for 4th place down into turn 9. Very close there between Diego and Andrew. Diego set the fastest middle sector out of anyone in the entire race. As you see Diego there locking up slightly. That could lose him some time. To Andrew in 7th place. Yes, so Andrew definitely not on track to overtake Daryl in the standings. Let's see if Quincy's going to have another go. Unlikely that he's going to have a go down into turn 6, but he's likely to have a go down into turn I think, yeah, turn 9. Someone's got rid of the 50 marker braking, but that's not too much of a problem, as that's not the braking point. Quincy's 5 tenths away from Skid Solo now. Touch and go whether he can get past him down to turn 9. Doesn't quite get the move done. Andrew getting ahead of Veroduca there. Let's see if Diego can follow him. The 3 drivers heading towards turn 7 now, and now down the straights. Through the flat out turn 8. Diego's alongside Veroduca now. 3 laps to go, as Secret of 1 is now well into lap 27. They're going to go side by side. Have they made it through safely? Diego's got successfully ahead of Veroduca in the house. Well, interestingly, Skid Solo's managed to nearly pull a second on Skid Solo there, so he's going to struggle to get DRS there on this lap. But Quincy seems to be slightly quicker here. So this is where he closes the time. He's just about missed DRS, unfortunately. And then we have Diego there. I've missed that change to the lead, so that's Race Chase ahead of Palang. I wonder if Palang's made a mistake. That came out of nowhere. Diego is 7 tenths behind Andrew. That battle for 6th place is definitely on as we head onto the penultimate lap, which Suzuka F1 has started now. We haven't been on board of Suzuka F1 for a while. Well, very wide line down for the entry for turn 1. Palang's now 2nd and a half. His tyres seem to have fallen off. 90 lap on mediums. Very long stint on the medium tyre there for him. Although it's very unlikely for Skid Solo to catch up to him on 15 lap old soft tyres. He's done half the race on soft tyres. Although the driver behind him, Quincy, has also done that same strategy and is well within DRS range now on the penultimate lap. Quincy there, nearly track limits for him. The driver in 5th place, looking to get himself up into the top 10 of the driver standings by the end of the season. That's definitely up for grabs. The driver ahead of him in the standings, that's Trunk, is not participating at this round. Yeah, so Andrew is in 6th place. Looks very likely that Darrell was going to keep his P3. Unless all the drivers ahead of him suddenly crash, which is extremely unlikely. Quincy looking to make a move on Skid Solo as we head onto the final lap with Suzuka F1 starting now. On board the 2 drivers, Quincy with the inside line there. Although Skid Solo is going to try and hang it around the outside, doesn't quite do it, gets cut off a bit there. Skid Solo does have a penalty though. And Andrew's also got a penalty, whilst Diego does not, so Andrew is likely to cede that position to Diego by the end of the race. Verdugo is 2.7 seconds behind those two. Yes, Skid Solo there in the McLaren in 5th place. It's not quite going to be enough to catch up Haas in the team standings, so they'll remain in 7th by the end of the season. Yellow flag in sector 3. That is Ibo, who's unfortunately retired from the session. So AlphaTauri will not be scoring any points. Mercedes are 20 points behind AlphaTauri. Can't remember if Quincy scored points in the sprint race, but if that was the case, there's actually quite a good chance for Mercedes to get ahead of AlphaTauri. Actually, that wouldn't be the case, as Jax managed to get a very good points haul in the sprint race, so I don't think it's possible for Mercedes to get ahead of AlphaTauri. That's the battle for 8th place in the standings. Nearly contact there between Diego and Andrew, heading into turn 6. And that is Suzuka F1, who's crossed the line to get his 12th win of the season. Dominant performance by him. He started last for the sprint race, made his way up to 3rd to start on row 2 for the feature race. Race Chase was one of his best performances of the season so far, finishing in 2nd. That's the full-time driver for Alfa Romeo. The reserve driver for Red Bull, Palang, has finished 3rd. And then we have Quincy coming around the final corner now to finish 4th, and will bring a good points haul for Mercedes. Although I do think they will remain in 9th in the championship, unfortunately. Skid Solo with a very good points haul for McLaren. Diego ahead of Andrew due to that penalty in 6th and 7th place. Verdugo, Ultimate Mr. Puro in 9th place. And I think in 10th we might have I can't actually remember now. Not ideal. Actually, I think in 10th, we only had 9 finishers, I think, because Ibo DNF'd, unfortunately. The other DNFs were DJ Lewis Virus, who DNF'd after the 4th safety car. And then we had Simple and Enzo colliding to bring up the 4th safety car. At the very beginning, we had Yax and Daryl colliding, unfortunately, to put both of them out the race. Thank you, Simple. And that's the podium then. So that's Sucofon, Palang, and Race Chase, rounding up our final podium of Season 5 of the Marvel Racing League Championship. Yeah, Sucofon is the champion of Season 5. And has also got the biggest points haul out of anyone this round to extend that gap between first and second by quite some margin, as the second place driver William did not compete this round. Palang, Races, Quincy, Skid Solo, Will Charavillo, Diego Verducan, Andrew Eniax, rounding up the 10 drivers who scored the most points overall in round 18. And that is it for round 18, and that is it for Season 5 of the Marvel Racing League Championship. We'll see you for Season 6, and that'll be in F124. We'll see you then.